Hello everyone, I'm D-Mind, the mind of one and all, and welcome back to another episode of Phenomeno, our 1-year anniversary special. Yes, so we started out, in the last episode we moved into a new house, and then found out that it's haunted, kind of. And then we went for this offline meeting with occult people into the cult, yeah. And yeah, now we're just sitting down chilling. And accidentally skip forward. I think I can click the backlog from here, yeah. There. The backlog. Well, in any case, the 30 or like this. The 30 or so people introduced themselves like this, and the conclusion, there was no one there who went by the handle Yoichi. This back here. Alright. Yeah. Huh. So they didn't show. I showed up to see Yoichi. Was anyone faking their handle? Hit people one by one, but given that most had never seen other and that offline meetings weren't particularly rare, it was hard to figure if anyone was lying. Well, since we've all gathered, can we discuss what the house that grant wishes is? I began, but Sue spoke over me. I think an old veteran of Ikai Gabushi who managed a liquor store and liked collecting things like the arms of Tengu and the shell of Kappa, if I remember correctly. Yoichi might be a different handle of Krishna. I was sighing but reacted to that name. That would make it. Yep, so everyone's just interested in Yoichi. If we summarize the rumors involving Yoichi, if you deal with Yoichi, you have a terrifying end. Yoichi is in a living prison, those that meet Yoichi die 7 days later. Something like that. Something like that. We've never heard any specifics or anyone dying, and maybe certain tracks were disappearing because Krishna was secretly joining the horror area investigations. Is what I think anyways. I see he nodded. Even Kasu. No. Krishna hasn't been showing up lately either, so that makes sense. Wait, please, I chimed in. Krishna is in the administrator of Ikai Gabushi? Krishna? Everyone's met him? Met him, or rather he's always showed up to meetings before. But he's not here today? You want to see him? Of course. The reason I became interested in the site Ikai Gabushi in the first place was being the person named Krishna is so fascinating. What's so fascinating about this person? Of course, part of it was that I was interested in the cult from the start, but there was a different sort of attraction with Ikai Gabushi. That was apparent, for instance, by looking at the odd words at the top of the page. Things that bother people also bother ghosts. From the start, Ikai Gabushi was a site intended to soothe matters between people and ghosts. Most people can't see ghosts, that's why, regardless of our lack of ill intent, that we probably bother ghosts more than they do us with your perspective. That was both fresh and unique. And as I read articles about renowned horror areas, on Ikai Gabushi, my conviction deepened. Each article was filled with care toward ghosts, taking care to show respect toward both the living and the dead. I always wondered, why are people always afraid of ghosts? Perhaps some ghosts play tricks on people, while they say, come on, stop it, and are stepping in and intervening, yet no one ever thinks of that as a possibility. Maybe that sort of order is maintained by ghosts, and is why the vast majority of people live without ever being bothered by the supernatural. That paragraph struck a chord with me, in particular. These words moved me when I just arrived in Tokyo and hadn't met anyone I could call a friend. I realized more than ever that people were connected to other people through candor. It gave me courage that I could make do in Tokyo, where it said that people's relationships with other people are often weak and diluted, where people try to avoid needless interaction with other people as much as possible. That was actually why I began participating in the site. I became attracted to the person named Krishna by their daily updates of the wonderful. His deep yet white. How you know Krishna is not a girl? Oh well. Yeah, he attended meetings so people met him, and they said to him, so yeah. His deep yet wide-ranging knowledge of the cult, his in-depth, cool writing style, the truth that could be felt from each and every word. These were all things I lacked, and were packed with things that my soul needed right then. I had gotten to the point where I felt like Krishna had become like my brother and father in Tokyo. Really? And if I could, I wanted Krishna to investigate the house that grants wishes himself. How old is Krishna? What kind of person is he? Nagikunya stuttering. Calm down, here, have a drink. Undeterred by the interruptions by Sue and the others, I rephrased my question. Please tell me, how could I meet him? However, the response to my question was an awkward silence by the 30. I think he won't show up at an offline meeting again. Why? Some things happen. Some things? Well, eventually, you'll find out. Leave it be for now. I only received vague responses like that. What broke the silence at the family restaurant was Zippo, who I think worked as a programmer. I posed that opinion. Asked Karasu, and Zippo pushed his big glasses up and slowly answered that Yoshi and Krishna are the same person. That thought. What do you mean? Actually, I know of someone who's met Yoshi at an offline meeting. Really? The gathering immediately rose in unison. What sort of person? How old? Guy? Girl? Which offline? They all laughed and Zippo quietly answered. The offline meeting was for an investigation of an abandoned hospital in the Tama prefecture about half a year. And what was Yoshi like? Well, I don't know. You don't know? Karasu asked, and Zippo swallowed once before answering. Because he's hospitalized. Hospitalized? Psychiatric ward. And with that, the excited gathering returned to silence. It was as if something heavy had descended upon the heaps. Hospitalized in a psychiatric ward. Is that Yoshi's fault? Asked Hugh, and Zippo slowly shook his head. I don't know, but even after regaining consciousness, all he mumbled is Yoshi. That's why I came to the meeting. To this meeting, because Yoshi came. I wanted to ask what happened at that offline meeting. Everyone fell silent when Zippo stopped speaking. And then the family restaurant was filled once again with stories of Yoshi. Come to think of it, was the type of statement proceeding conversations as one after another tales of Yoshi leaked out from people. If I were to summarize such topics, it seemed Yoshi infrequently appeared on the Ikaiga Bushi forum. If he's supposedly a ghost, he's a ghost appearing on the forum. Wow. Its appearance was not common, but whenever it showed up, it would post in almost every thread, providing opinions on everything regardless of how maniacal the topic. Given the time of appearance, Yoshi could be imagined as an occult maniac that was sitting in front of a computer almost 24 hours a day. They had knowledge of the supernatural to rival Krishna, but their posts showed no signs of sharing the ghost love that defined Krishna. If anything, they could be described as more eerie, as if a dead person had eerily joined the internet. Maybe the rumors that Yoshi isn't a living person, they might be true after all, mumbled Jersey, who said he was a writer for a magazine. Remember that thread that popped up some time ago? I'm a ghost, but do you have any questions? The one where IP traces and PC and host all came up empty, so people wondered whether it was real. I'm of the opinion that ethereal forms have good synergy with computers and digital equipment because, you know, brainwaves are weak electrical signals too. You do hear a lot of tales of ghost writing online. Then that Yoshi, mumbled Hugh in a summarizing way. We can't see it, but is it already here? Those words sent a chill down my spine. My what? Those words sent down my spine. What spine? I looked around the brightly lit store. It wasn't just me. It seemed like everyone felt something cold. After that, the gathering seemed to decide to avoid talking about things. Gradually, seats became arranged by topic as people broke it off into their areas of interest. As the host of the offline meeting, I wanted to bring back the original topic, but I was certain no one remembered anything about my house. Furthermore, she was telling fascinating eerie stories, and that was too interesting to pass up. A box and box. N box. Not a box, N box. Bought from an antique store that could not be opened, ghost stories involving paper money found behind a painting on a hotel wall, a laughing girl who spoke often to a doll. Each provided entertainment that could leave you sleepless when alone at night. Everyone forgot about time as they enjoyed the endless flow of occult discussions. And at around 1 AM, the offline meeting dispersed. Wow. So, you weren't successful. Well, maybe Karasu will help. Well, here you are. Wait a second. I chased Karasu as she flagged the taxi while glancing at the Ikaigabushi members scattering in small groups. What about my house? The house that grants wishes. And then the useless fortune teller waved her hand with a completely flushed face. No problem, it's that I'm a schemer. What else? I was going to tell you something else, but I forgot. What do you mean you forgot? Don't worry, you have the mark of a meeting. Here. She smacked my back and then happily jumped into the stop taxi. I stood there dumbfounded as I saw the taxi run off. I wonder if it was alright to go home. To that house. Don't do it, man. Okay. The house that grants wishes. I walked toward the train station, using the main street, dragging along the mama cycle that I bought really cheap online for commuting to school. Tokyo was filled with people, even late at night, in particular. The area around the train station near my house was close to many universities. Wait. Yeah. So there seemed to be no difference in the amount of people milling from noon to night. Right around where I could see the station, I almost ran into a pair of girls and apologized. One shot me a "Who's this punk?" But the other smiled and said, "I'm sorry, I apologize once more." That was all there was to it, but it filled my heart with joy, really. Indeed, a fateful meeting was lying in wait for me. Oh yes. Yeah, thinking about the meeting. And a girl, no less. This might be good. The bizarre events tormenting me at that house might surely be a build-up for the happiness that awaited. I don't think so. There's a horror novel. In the future, I would look back at it and laugh. I felt less burdened when I thought of it that way. And this way I wouldn't have to move out. Moving costs would be painful for me, given that I was receiving no aid from home. The offline meeting was fun too, I can't keep complaining. I mumbled to myself and I finally straddled the bike. I turned completely around and decided to return home for the first time in a few days. The one that came to the offline meeting today said anything about the house that grants wishes. If you look at it from another angle, it means it can't possibly be a ghost incident. It's a bit shameful that's the original poster, but it's all good in the end, right? What would have happened if I dragged people over to my house and it turned out there was no ghost? I know you can, that's why I said, take a picture of the marks. Say like, oh, this is happening, take a picture, take a video recording. Then post it on the forum. I'm sure you can post that kind of shit on the forum. Then they'll be like, oh, there is something. I'd just be a laughing stock. Having finished arming myself with logic, I faced the soft, comforting night breeze and powered the pedals. I recovered to the point where I may have even hummed. However, I noticed it when I was about to re-enter the main street from the arcade in front of the train station. There was a strange, abnormal feeling on the back of my left foot. It was like I was constantly stepping on gum. So I stopped my bike and took off my sneaker right there. And then I lifted my left foot a bit, looked at the sole and froze. In fact, now that I think about it, is this a visual novel or a kinetic novel? A kinetic novel, of course, meaning that there's no choices, so you're just playing from start to end. I do not know whether there's choices in this game. All of my good feelings were extinguished and I felt my blood freezing. What is there? On the back of my sneaker. Oh. 5. Oh wait, no, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4. Was engraved the number 4. Damn it, what the hell, steamer? That countdown was continuing. I pushed the motorcycle along with mostly a half step, and every person passing gave me a strange look, owing to my frantic look, but I paid them no heed. I threw away the sneaker with the fall and waved on the spot. I couldn't continue wearing such an eerie thing. Cold of the concrete and the scattered pebbles pierced my feet through my socks, but I didn't care. Why, when was fall carved into the back of my sneaker? What was going to happen when the countdown ended, and how would I be able to escape from this terror? When you move out, didn't the countdown stop to some extent? Or did it? I had no idea, but in any case I kept running. People in fancy clothing looked at me and laughed, but I didn't care. I just wanted somewhere with a warm atmosphere. Where? Where would that be? Eventually I found a discount shop open late into the night after passing through the arcade and jumped in. Huh, nice tune there. A stupidly bright theme song was playing in the background. Yeah, I like it. It's so stupid that it's good. The mass of products were incredibly cheap, and I sang along with the simple repetitive melody. See, even you get it. Flamboyantly dressed girls avoided me as I stood there, leaning against a shelf, holding cosmetics and mumbling to myself. An employee asked me, "Are you unwell?" And I finally realized that my left foot, which was only covered by socks, was throbbing. While I looked, perhaps I stepped on a shard of glass on the way, as I saw that the socks had been cut and bloody. I bought bandages, socks, and the cheaper sneaker and cleaned the wound in the bathroom. I cleaned the back of my foot, placed the bandage, and wore the new socks. Let me guess, it wouldn't count down immediately to 3. The cheap sneaker had a shoddy design and wasn't very comfortable, but it was better than being barefoot. It was an unnecessary expense, but I felt comfortable. I was afraid of being in the bathroom alone, so I returned to the inside of the store and took a deep breath. As I wandered around the store as if window shopping. What should I do now? I thought, but could come up with no answer. Move out of the house. At some point I just began standing in front of a show window absent-mindedly, and the employee from before asked if anything was wrong getting, so I left the store. There was no helping it, so I began heading towards the net cafe I've been using before, but it was already full. I peeked into the nearby karaoke box, but there was even a line spilling out onto the street. I tried wandering around several stores, but they were all the same. Come to think of it, it was Saturday at night. There would be no openings until the first train. Your first meeting? I mean the meeting they go. However, I couldn't think of any other place to go. I wandered around the station while dragging my bike, and the police would shoot me suspicious look. Wait, didn't the voice tell you that the girl was also dead? Oh yeah. I almost felt like it would be more comforting to be arrested, but some level of common sense remained in me. So I turned back to the main street. The headlights of cars on Tsukaichi Street illuminated me as they passed by. Normally the cars just looked like fuel-consuming devices, but today I felt consoled by them. It's invigorating to look upon things that could be scientifically explained. However, I may have been at my limits. This was no different from being homeless. I had no one I was intimate with enough in Tokyo, where the light never dims. I had no place to go, and I was running low on funds. I spontaneously looked at the night sky, but just as there were no clouds, there was also no stars. It was just an obsidian dimension that stretched on as if painted. Perhaps I could call my sister and borrow some money in the morning, and then go back to Shizuoka. Tokyo was too much for me, which is something humiliating to say, but this was just too unexpected. I imagine most people would have trouble with such a case too. Mother, I'm sorry, you supported me so much in coming to Tokyo. I thought you received no funds from back home. That's why you struggled to get a cheap place. Then, the person you're supposed to meet, I saw a strong light at the end of the night street. When I looked up, I realized I'd come back to the family restaurant. I see, this was also open 24 hours. That was enough to make me feel like I found a million allies, and my knees almost buckled. The drink bar was cheaper than the net cafe, and there were plenty of people about due to it being Saturday night. I should have just stayed here from the start. Hahaha. I laughed to myself dryly, and I must have been very hard to approach with how I look. Anyways, I left my motorcycle at the bicycle lot for the family restaurant and then was about to enter when I recoiled. There was something even more bizarre that made me not want to get any closer. Outside the big glass window to the store, inside the front ticket, that seemed to have planted to cover the store. What? Oh, a girl. Was a girl dressed in full black. She wore a black long coat, even though it was spring, and her long hair that stretched down her back, and her skirt and her boots were also pure black. Maybe she's Yoshi, the girl that I'm supposed to meet. Yet her skin was abnormally white, and she was crouched in the darkness, so it looked like only her face was floating. But what is she doing? She was standing in the middle of the ticket and almost pressing her face against the glass as she stared into the store. It was so creepy I was about to back off. And she looked at me. But then she slowly turned to face me. Her face was shockingly white, and the face was perfectly aligned. She was so perfect that I felt like saying she must have been a construct, like a giant bisque doll that accidentally been left there. That's the impression she gave me. A night-colored girl. Unexpectedly, those words popped into my head. Those were the color of the girl's eye. Maybe it was because of the lighting, but it felt like an inordinately large proportion of her eyes were taken by her irises. And that under her long eyelashes, they seemed to have a jet black glimmer. Below her straight cut front hair, they shone a dark color as they gazed upon me. Are you? My mouth naturally spoke. Yoshi? The girl silently nodded. Oh. Yoshi isn't a living person. Those that meet Yoshi die 7 days later. Offline meetings that Yoshi attends and in terror. Oh. Alright. Goodbye, buddy. I mean, it was nice knowing you, but yeah. What I heard earlier floated around my head as I stared at the girl in front of me. 7 glasses were laid out on the table in front of Yoshi, ranging from iced coffee, cola, to orange juice to Japanese tea, creating her own drink bar. Aren't you supposed to just take one at a time? I said to her in an exasperated tone, but she replied, as long as I drink, there should be no problem. Wait, as long as I drink everything, there should be no problem. And she kept her eyes on the glasses as she drank one after another. She drank orange juice, then iced coffee, and then warm Japanese tea cola. Then she faithfully repeated the order a number of times. Sometimes adding rooibos tea and black tea and melon soda as an accent. I didn't know if there was meaning to the order, but when she did it, it felt like some sort of traditional religious ritual, which is odd. I took a look again at the girl who went by Yoshi. She was probably still in high school. I realized when I'm looking at her under a brighter condition that she had immense beauty. Okay, I guess. However, the problem was your eyes. Yeah. Those eyes that seem like glass beads. Seem to be looking somewhere and yet also seem to be looking nowhere. It felt as if she did not share the same world, creating a special barrier around her. About her. Hers was not like that of a princess and her high perch, rather if anything like that of a witch's apprentice. Hey, I asked the girl dressed in black as she busily rifled through the drinks. Why didn't you come to the offline meeting? I was there. Knew it, I was like, she's gonna be like, but I was, or something. Oh, but I did. No, but when everyone was around, you didn't come. I was there. Right there the whole time. She pointed to it the other side of the window where I first found Yoshi. In other words, in the bush outside the store. There? With her face pressed against the glass. Then, what? From 11 until now, you were there the whole time? Yeah, she nodded. And as I stared at her pale face, I thought, this girl, is she what you call psychotic? It was already past 2 AM. To stick to glass for 3 hours from 11 PM must have creeped out the employees. When I turned back toward her, a different waitress from before was saying something to Yoshi. Her expression was contorted in an extremely mean manner, in a much more contemptuous manner than they showed me. I stood up, having felt like I'd seen something detestable. I immediately walked toward them, declared I want a drink bar as well, and then headed straight toward the counter to grab a drink. I don't know why I felt so irritated. Probably it was because I felt like I'd been laughed at as a fellow occult lover. I filled my glass to the brim with ice, then pressed the button for iced coffee. Now then, what to do from here on out? As I watched the hot iced coffee. Oh, I see. The hot iced coffee melt through the ice. I thought I could not go home, and the countdown continued furthermore. I had run into the heresy class occult girl from Ikaigabushi, and now for some reason I'm alone with her at a family restaurant late at night. In a way, it was comforting that I was not alone, but given that it was an occult girl with strange urban legends attached to her, I was left with complex emotions. You like bad coffee? When I returned to my seat, Yoshi said that. What? I asked if you like bad coffee. The coffee here is unsatisfactory. I looked at her 7 glasses again and noticed that only the iced coffee had hardly been sipped. Information that you can gather beforehand should be processed before you act. Yoshi's neat logic filled words annoyed me, so I replied with some nastiness. Then allow me to gather information. Why did you come to today's offline meeting? Because I was interested. In the house that grants wishes? Why are you interested in that house? The sounds are probably just structural groans, and the engravings might just be my mistake, right? I said exactly what Karasu told me, in a self-depreciating manner, and Yoshi simply said, of course, without any hint of reporting. Then why? When I read about that house on the forum, I felt a bit of an oddity. A low whisper tone gave me goosebumps. There are countless stories of these overflowing on the internet, but most of them are fake. Real ones, though, they have a scent that cannot be hidden. Oh wait, that's right. Something hot bubbled forth from the bottom of my stomach at those words. Having a psycho belief you isn't really something to be pleased about. But to be frank, happy that there was someone that would finally listen to the source of my fears. Indeed, that place is real. I was in shambles already as the bottom of my shoe had been carved into. Hey, what is that? Is it a ghost? Are you the type that can see them? What do you mean by having a scent that cannot be hidden? I couldn't stop myself from blurting out questions, and Yoshi stared at a glass of orange juice as she flatly answered. First question first. It may not be a ghost. What? Next question. It's not that I can see everything. Final question. A feeling. Real abnormalities always have a strange sense of not fitting together. Yoshi switched out of her previous day's posture and began talking. Strange phenomena happen. People related to it become afraid. When you investigate, you find out that someone committed suicide. There, I won't say that such neatly placed together stories are all fake. However, the real fun ghost stories past such things. There's a feeling as if something important has been skipped over. Being able to fill in the gap is the single theory of the other side. In other words, what? Why is that eerie sound that keeps happening at my house? Why are numbers being written? And why are they always going down? What happens to me when the numbers run out? I subconsciously stood up as I shouted, what's going to happen to me? The store went silent and everyone was looking at me. Embarrassed a bit, I sat back down. However, I couldn't figure out what was going on. I didn't know what to do anymore. I was a bit ashamed of myself and scratched my head when Yoshi quietly mumbled, You are the one that posted that. You're the one that posted that? Yeah. And the top and Yoshi's cold dark irises were mysteriously glimmering. I nodded and explained what had just happened. That Paul had already arrived, and that it had been carved onto the bottom of my sneakers I had been wearing myself. I explained that while I'm trembling. How does someone carve that? Did something possess me all the way from home? I was almost in tears when I asked, then I recoiled. Yoshi's eyes, which were once like glass beads, had seemed to harbor life. And then she suddenly placed a finger to my nose and said, "Hey, close your eyes." Huh? Her pretty face peered into me, gazing into my eyes. Her face had come so close to me that, to be honest, my heart started racing. Oh, but I think this is a good place to end it, so leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at DMindGaming if you have enjoyed. And I hope to see you again in the next episode.